Hey guys, Cal here today with the all-new 2024 Chevy Traverse RS. This one is finished in sterling gray metallic. It has no options added and it stickers for $57,495. Today we're going to take a quick look at all the Traverse RS's features, and I'm also going to tell you why you should buy the Ford Explorer ST instead of the Traverse RS. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right guys, so taking a look at the exterior of the new Traverse RS here, basically the theme that I want to say is gloss black. That is the theme of this entire exterior. I'm going to show you why. We're going to start up front here. This grill bar, it is gloss black. This mesh inside of the grill, all gloss black. Very nice RS badging. Have that sort of gloss black outline on that as well. This center section of the front bumper, all gloss black right there. This bottom splitter on the front bumper is all black. Your slats for the intercooler grill, also gloss black right there. Your housing for the headlights right here is also gloss black. Sorry about the road spray. This thing just came out of transport. It's literally fresh off the truck, I think as of maybe yesterday or something. So this is all gloss black down here, gloss black around there. Up top, your roof rails, these are also coming with a gloss black finish. You can see that there. And then your side mirrors right here, these also a gloss black finish. Your 22-inch wheels down here, also gloss black down there. And then, yeah, I mean, you got some gloss black paint up there. And then you have this center section right here, which on the Z71 Traverse was also gloss black. And then you have that gloss black paint right there. And then you also have it on the bottom of the rear bumper right there as well. 5,000 pound towing capacity with your hitch under this cover. And we'll go ahead and just kind of take a quick walk around it, and you can take in all that gloss black paint. It is a lot of paint. I hope some of the stuff on the lower valances here holds up to like stone chips and things like that, because you know that is paint down there. Whereas like if you get an LS or something like that, none of this is painted. It's more so just kind of like a flat black plastic. So there's a lot of gloss black paint on this RS model, but it is pretty sharp looking. It is really, really good looking. So I would say in the looks department, this definitely does compete pretty well with the Explorer ST, at least in my opinion. I think they did a great job with the styling on the Traverse RS here. So the first reason I would consider the Ford Explorer ST over the Traverse RS is simply based off of price. Obviously for a lot of us, even though both of these are $50,000 plus vehicles, still I think price to a lot of us is important when we're buying something as expensive as vehicles. So I did want to mention that there's quite a price difference between the Explorer ST and the Traverse RS. The Explorer ST, if you go on Ford's website, I think the rear-wheel drive version starts at $50,105, and then you got to add a couple grand to go up to the all-wheel drive version, so then you're right around the $52,000 range, somewhere in there. To get the Traverse RS here, you're looking at about $55,000 for the front-wheel drive model and about $57,000 and some change for the all-wheel drive model. So no matter if you get the all-wheel drive or not on either model, either the Explorer ST or the Traverse RS, it's about a $5,500 price gap between the two, which makes the Traverse RS pretty expensive. So that's one reason I would consider the Explorer ST. And taking a look under the hood of the brand new Traverse RS is the second reason that I would buy the Explorer ST over the Traverse here, and that is the engine, the powertrain. The 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that's under the hood in this brand new Traverse is all new for the Traverse. We don't necessarily know the history of this engine yet. We don't know what kind of gremlins it might have in the future, because it is an all-new motor for the Traverse. So that is one thing that is on my mind right now. We don't really know what the history of this engine is, and there is quite a horsepower and torque gap between the two engines. With this 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder in the Traverse, you're looking at 328 horsepower and 326 pound-foot of torque. Now with the Explorer ST, you are looking at 400 horsepower and 415 pound-foot of torque out of its 3-liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that's a small gap in power. It is a relatively sizable gap in power. I think the average person would notice that power difference getting behind the wheel of either SUV. And another reason I would choose the Explorer ST over the Traverse RS here is because it does have a faster 0 to 60 time. Now, I know many of us probably aren't buying SUVs for 0 to 60 times. They're not exactly sports cars, but as these are sporty-minded SUVs, I thought it was something important to note, as whoever buys one of these two SUVs probably wants something that feels sporty. So the 0 to 60 on the Ford Explorer ST is about 5.2 to 5.5 seconds, somewhere in there. And I thought this was an interesting metric to bring up. Back in 2004, when the Lamborghini Gallardo first came out, pretty major sports car back then, when that first came out, that was doing some real world 0 to 60 times of like around 4.7 seconds. So to see that the Ford Explorer ST is only like a half a second slower, you know, a big SUV, to see that that's only roughly a half a second slower than a Lamborghini Gallardo from 2004 is pretty impressive. Now, the 0 to 60 on the Chevy Traverse here, it's not necessarily slow. I certainly wouldn't call that. It still gets up and goes. But according to Motor Trend, they've estimated the 0 to 60 right around 7 seconds. So it's going to be somewhere in that 7-second range. Might be a little bit less, but this is, you know, maybe 1 or 1.5 seconds slower to 60 miles an hour compared to the Explorer ST. So in the world of 0 to 60 times, that is a pretty good gap. So it is noticeable, but like I said, I don't want to call this slow. It still does definitely have some get up and go. All right, and taking a break from the front of the Traverse here, we'll go ahead and pop the trunk, and we're going to go ahead and look at trunk space back here. It is 23 cubic feet of space in the trunk of the Traverse here. It's the same size trunk as the last generation Traverse. Now, the Ford Explorer ST, that trunk is going to clock in right around only 18.2 cubic feet of space. So it is 5 cubic feet of space difference between these two SUVs. So if you are somebody that maybe you're not just buying an SUV for the looks of it, you are going to be using this as, say, a family hauler, I would definitely go with the Traverse over the Explorer, just because this trunk space is noticeably bigger back here. I mean, even below this second little storage cubby here, if you lift this up, you'll see there's a whole storage tray under here. So there's just a ton of storage in the Traverse RS here. So if you want that sporty look that the Explorer ST has, but you do have maybe more than 2 kids and you just need that trunk space and the seat space, I would definitely go with the Traverse over the Explorer. All right, guys, taking a seat in the back seat of the Traverse RS here, we'll go ahead and open this door up here. You'll see that you do have some nice padded leather on this top section here and the mid section. You have some nice red leather stitching right there, and kind of a cool pattern right there in that mid section. Little chrome trim here, and then you have those Bose speakers, of course. Those are coming standard on your Traverse RS. Now, your seats, you have this red leather stripe up top. You have the red leather stripe right there on the bottom. And then if you look down here, you have that red pinstriping right there. So very nicely done seats. I do think they're pretty good looking, pretty firm. They do feel like they're gonna hold up for a good long time. If I sit in this second row, I am sitting behind myself. I was just sitting up here in this front seat. I didn't move that chair at all. And me being 6'2", I still do have a little bit of space there. I'm not necessarily struggling for space. The kids, they do have their climate control down there, chargers, heated seats for the people in the second row here. Now you will see this other seat over here, I did have to move it forward in order for me to be able to climb into the back seat. So we'll go ahead and climb into the third row here behind this chair that I've already moved forward. And as you can see, even with me being 6'2", I am kind of able to tuck under the chair there and fit in. So if you do have, like I said in the trunk back there, if you do have more than 2 kids, I would say that I would go with this over the Explorer ST. If you do have a family that you're trying to haul around, the Traverse is definitely going to be the option for you. There is much more space in this second and third row. Kids in the third row do have cell phone chargers and cup holders right there. So it is a beautiful interior in here. I have to say they did a great job. Another thing to consider between the ST and the RS here is that we don't really know what the history of this brand new body style Traverse is going to be yet, because it's the first year that this has been made. So we don't know what problems are going to occur with this whole body style as a whole vehicle. Whereas with the Ford Explorer 2024 model, that's the last year that that body style has been in production. So a lot of the gremlins or quirks or anything like that should have hopefully been ironed out at this point, considering it is the last model year. of that body style. Now, is it gonna kind of suck to buy the last body style year of an SUV, and then as soon as next year rolls around, a brand new body style drops and then you have the old one? Yeah, it does, but at the same time, doing that, you could avoid a lot of issues. I mean, I know a lot of people that have taken gambles on first year vehicles of other makes and models. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Traverse, and you know, they have kind of had to bite the bullet for it. You know, they've been in the shop for months getting things fixed, parts are on back order, simply because they bought the new latest and greatest thing. Whereas if you buy the 2024 Explorer ST, that's already been in production for a good amount of time. So, keyword should, it should be pretty reliable at this point. Whereas with this brand new body style Traverse, we don't know what is to come yet. And hopping into the front seat of the Traverse RS, you will see this pattern right here. This is the exact same design that is on the door of the Traverse Z71. So they have carried that design on the door and dashboard into the RS model here from the Z71. Now, looking at the seats, they are the same as the seats that we saw in the back there, the red stripe with all of this red stitching. You have that red stripe there, red stripe there. Up here, the only difference is you do have that nice RS embossment on the headrest, which is really cool to see. Everything up here does feel pretty solid. I would say it's right on par with Ford's build quality, if not a little bit more solid. Some of the things in Ford interiors in the last few years can feel a little chintzy, but I think everything in here feels pretty good. These piano black HVAC buttons down here, these do feel pretty good. You know, even compared to the Colorado buttons, where this same design down here for the climate control buttons, these did not feel that great in the Colorado and in the Canyon. In here, they do feel pretty good. They click nicely, they don't feel too cheap. So those feel nice. This feels solid. When you open and close it, it is a big storage cubby in there, and the leather up here feels good. It feels solid. Like I said, in the back, it feels like it's going to last for years to come. This opens up nicely, doesn't feel too cheap when that pops open. Cup holders are a good size. They do actually fit my Yeti, as I have shown in past reviews. You got your wireless cell phone charger right down here, and your Super Cruise right there, as you can see. And also coming standard in the RS Traverse here, check this out, the rear camera mirror. There it is. If we hit this button, we can turn the brightness up and down. We can also zoom in and zoom out, and then also adjust how high or low that camera is pointing. So I love that feature. I would probably just keep it on that most of the time, but I do like that. It's kind of a fun party trick when you have people in the vehicle. All right, guys, taking the Traverse out for a little 0 to 60 run here. Air conditioning is off, and we have sport mode on. And there it is. It gets up to speed just like that. We're gonna go ahead and see if this Super Cruise works. So it says you have to have the adaptive cruise control on before you engage Super Cruise, and then you also have to, I think, what is it, hit this button right here, and there it is. See that green light just lit up. See the wheel moving itself, and what an incredible technology. I don't have much experience with self-driving vehicles, but it is always really interesting to just see these things work, to see that I'm still centered within the lines. But every time I get behind the wheel of a self-driving vehicle like this, it is just mind-blowing. So, hey, for, 57 grand, yeah, that is a lot of money. But to have a vehicle that has self-driving like this for the highways, it's already, I think by 2024 or 2025, it's going to be up to about 750,000 miles of roads that are programmed into the system between Canada and the United States. And when you click your drive modes over here on this little panel, you can kind of see on that center screen, you got normal, tow haul mode, you have snow and ice, and then you have off-road again, and then sport mode. It is very cool in here. I mean, everything has a great feeling. Like I said, the interior is built well. Not quite as quick as the Explorer ST, but everything else is so well done, you might not necessarily miss any of the features that SUV has. All right, guys, so now it's time for me to round out my thoughts on the 2024 Traverse RS. Now, the one thing that does make me kind of mad about this vehicle is the fact that if I paid $20,000 less for a Traverse LS, the base model, I would get the same engine under the hood, that 328 horsepower, 326 pound-foot of torque, 2.5 liter four-cylinder. I would have the same engine. So to me, the RS really kind of seems to be nothing more than an appearance package. Now, of course, it does have a lot of standard features. You know, you have the leather interior, you have the heated and cooled seats standard, you have the Super Cruise standard, a lot of features coming standard, but for a kind of performance, sporty-minded SUV, I would like to see some performance upgrades. So to see that the base model and this $20,000 apart share an engine kind of makes me think that this is nothing more than a body kit, really. So there's really no performance upgrades to getting the RS. Now, as far as should you buy the Explorer ST or should you buy the Traverse RS, if you're somebody like myself who maybe you don't have kids, or maybe you only have possibly 1 or 2 kids, I think the Explorer is a great choice for you. If you do have more than 2 kids, I would say definitely go for the Traverse RS. Maybe even if you have 2 kids, still go for the Traverse RS. There's a lot more space in here. It's a lot less tight. But if you're somebody like myself, you like a sporty driving SUV, you want that sporty driving experience, then definitely go for the Explorer ST. So I think this here is really only going to be for if you're trying to use this as a family hauler. Then I would go with the Traverse RS. All right, guys, that wraps it up for my review of the 2024 Traverse RS. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I wanted to give a quick shout out to my friends at Bob Johnson Chevrolet on West Ridge Road in Rochester. I will have all their info in the description down below if you guys are interested in checking this particular Traverse out. It is for sale there right now. If you guys did enjoy the video, like and subscribe now. If you have any questions I didn't answer, leave them down in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.